Good morning, everyone. Today we will do the explanation of Unit 5 Wet in the Forest. Dear students, this lesson is written by Dhriti K. Lahiri Chaudhary. Dhriti K. Lahiri Chaudhary was a professor of English and an elephant expert. He journeyed over the thousands of miles in the forest of India, studying elephants. He wrote in both English and Bengali and published different books on elephants. In April 1991, the East Medinipur Forest Division in West Bengal sought the help of Wildlife Wing of the Forest Department. A young elephant, accompanied by a herd of more than 50 elephants, was injured and could not walk well. All attempts to drive away the herd were unsuccessful, as the herd, after being driven away, always came back to rescue the injured teammate who was lagging behind. In the first paragraph, we are getting the information that in 1991 April, it was the month of April, in the East Medinipur Forest Division in West Bengal, a wildlife wing of forest was called to help out, because a young elephant who accompanied with more than 50 elephants got somehow injured and he was not able to walk properly. Whenever the people belonging to that area tried to drive away the herd, they used to come back because the teammate was lagging behind. They were coming back to rescue their teammate whose leg was injured. Para number 2. We arrived at the rest house of Vishnupur Forest. There were 3 of us: SCD, Chief Wildlife Warden of the state; Subrata Chaudhary, officer specializing in tranquilizing animals; and I, a hanger-on. Here, the writer of this lesson is telling us that there were 3 of them. They reached Vishnupur forest and rested in the rest house which was made over there, and the 3 people are mentioned over here: SCD, who was working as Chief Wildlife Warden of the state, and Subrata Chaudhary, who was a tranquilizing animals officer specialist he was, and the writer himself, who was a hanger-on. Now let's check out the meanings of these 3 words. Chief Wildlife Warden means head of the wildlife wing of the State Forest Department, and tranquilizing means making a person or an animal calm or unconscious by giving them a drug. Hanger-on means a person who follows others in a group without having any particular part to play. Para number 3. It was getting uncomfortably hot. Though it was only the middle of March, the herd and the injured elephant were constantly moving, hence the local forest staff could give us no exact information about its current location. As it is given over here that the herd was continuously moving, so the local forest staff was not able to give them the exact location of the elephant herd, and though it was the month of March, middle of the March month, but still it was terribly hot for them, and the writer is saying that it was uncomfortably hot, that the weather was very hot at that time. We had just decided to inquire among the villagers when a young man belonging to one of the local tribes approached us and said he knew where the injured elephant was. As the animal was unable to move much, the young man was taking cut branches of trees to feed it every day. Now the writer is telling us that in this fourth paragraph that they decided to inquire about the elephants from the villagers. Just then, when they decided to inquire from the villagers, a young man belonging to a local tribe came to them, and he said he knew where the injured elephant was. He used to cut branches from the trees to feed it because he was not able to move. So he was feeding the elephant. We were enormously impressed. It was an area that was regularly ravaged by wild elephants during the crop season. The ones to suffer the most were the tribal people with their small plots of land. And yet, here was a young man looking after an injured elephant. We decided to track the beast the next morning. Further, the writer is telling us that he was very impressed. His staff with whom he was working was very impressed with that young man belonging to the local tribe, because the local people were the one who used to suffer a lot due to these wild animals. They used to destroy the crops in their small plot of land which they used to sow in the seasons. But still there was someone who was taking care of that injured elephant. Our team was now joined by a veterinary officer who had no previous experience of treating injured elephants, tame or wild. The villagers' report said that the elephant had an injury in one of the front legs. Taking even one step was agony for the animal. Now, the team of the wildlife wing also included a veterinary officer, and the writer is telling us that this veterinary officer did not have any previous experience of treating a uh, a wild elephant or a tamed one. According to the villagers' report, the elephant had got an injury in one of its front legs, and the elephant was not able to move, and if it was trying to move, it was a great pain for it. The next day, our jeep bumped across forest tracks and fields to spot where we found that a group of enthusiastic young men had already gathered. The next day, when the jeep of those wildlife wing uh, department moved towards the forest tracks, they found that already where the injured elephant was, there was a great gathering of young men who were very enthusiastic. And yes, the injured elephant was there, and they also saw the injured elephant over there. All right, they said, but it was in the middle of the herd. It would be impossible to separate the animal from the herd and treat it. Now wildlife department, who was trying to help out the injured elephant, they saw it. They saw the injured elephant, but it was surrounded by other elephants, and it was very difficult to separate the animal from the herd and treat it. After some discussion, we had a bright idea. If we first chased the herd away, the injured animal would surely lag behind the fleeing herd. They decided they decided to chase the herd, so that when other animals will try to run away from there, the injured elephant will lag behind, and then they will get a chance to treat him. Explaining our plan, we asked the assembled villagers if they would be able to chase the herd away from the spot, and within a few minutes the chase started. We could hear the herd crashing through the forest, the chasing party shouting and bursting crackers till the sound died away in the distance. Now, the uh, the wildlife team is telling us, or you can say that a writer is telling us about his team, that they decided to ask for help from the villagers who have gathered around the um, herd. They asked them to help them out by chasing the herd away from the animal, from the injured animal, so that they could treat it. And seconds within seconds, the villagers started chasing the herd and bursting crackers and making noise so that they could uh, drive the herd away. Para number 8. Our next plan of action was to ask the enthusiastic villagers for help to locate our patient. After about half an hour or so, two boys came running up and told us that they had found the elephant standing alone in one corner of the forest. Now, the they told the villagers about their next plan to locate the patient. Where the patient was, they started asking about it. Then, after half an hour, two of the boys came running to them, and they told them about the injured elephant where it was standing. Um, they told them the exact location of the injured elephant. We set off for the spot in our jeep with our two young friends as guides. Another 10 minutes and we were there. The injured elephant was standing on a slight elevation just across a depression created by a dry stream. Now, these wildlife wing got those two young boys with them as their guides, and they started moving forward towards the um, injured elephants. They found the elephant standing on an elevation which was made uh, which was made by a dry stream.